what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Master, where we love all things geek more than I would love to be bitten by a radioactive spider and given superhuman abilities. As usual, I'm your socially awkward host, Cassius Samuels, and I figured since I've been gone for a while, I would jump back in here and give you guys my thoughts on all this new Spider-Man news that's been popping up here left and right over the last couple days. I was only gone because BVS was such a disappointment to me that I felt like I had to take a break from all this nerd shit and recover, because I honestly felt like that shit killed my childhood. But now that I'm back, let's go ahead and jump back into this shit, because that's what I do. I'm the Geek Master, but a recognized fool. So anyway, jumping right in, by now you've probably heard the new working title for the Spider-Man reboot, which is of course now being called Spider-Man Homecoming. And to be honest, I kind of like the title. It's simple yet symbolic to me. When I see the title Homecoming, I immediately think about Spider-Man finally coming home to the MCU and escaping the black hole that is Sony Pictures so that he can finally get the justice his character needs. As far as the source material is concerned, with the Homecoming title being derived from an actual story arc, I expect this movie to be basically a very loose adaptation of the comic book story at best, since the Homecoming comic book story arc basically centered around Peter Parker's return to New York City after procuring the Venom symbiote suit. Instead, Sony and Marvel could be using the Homecoming title here as a kind of jumping off point for Parker's life, symbolic of him returning back to New York City, or not back to Utah, but returning to his part of New York City following the events of Civil War, which again makes my man parts tingle with excitement because of how simple and symbolic this title really is. Also coming out in the news recently was a rumor that was reported on by David Farsi from Birth Movies Death, and he basically reported that he believes the Vulture could be a villain in the upcoming movie. He didn't make it clear if the Vulture was supposed to be the main villain or just a side villain, but he kind of led us to believe that if he is included in the movie, it would be as a secondary villain. In my opinion, the inclusion of the Vulture makes me feel a little ambivalent. On one side, I like the idea of a very young Peter Parker going up against a very old Adrian Toomes who has somehow found a way to utilize technology that steals youth in order to make himself young. It has a classic feel to it, and that nostalgic feeling kind of makes the kid in me jump for joy. I also like the idea of an aerial foe who will be able to get Spidey to engage in all these visually spectacular battles as he swings and leaps around, and Toomes flying around firing his weaponry and all that. It just sets up to be a very good visually spectacular event. Not only that, it's a change of pace from the Green Goblin, so all that makes me happy. But on the other side, I would honestly like to see a villain like Mysterio or Kraven get the nod. But having said that, I wouldn't be mad if Vulture was featured in this movie. I just hope it's only in a side villain capacity, so that we still have a big bad antagonist to look forward to. Moving right along, Variety has also recently reported on a rumor that claims Michael Keaton, who we all know as Batman from the original Batman movies, is looking to be cast as a major villain in this movie. That would be dope to me for sure, considering how well versed as an actor Michael Keaton is. And even though it's just a rumor, the internet has been speculating like crazy who he could play. People have been throwing every name from Norman Osborn to Uncle Ben to Kraven the Hunter to Vulture. I personally don't think he will play any of those characters if the rumors are true, but if I had to pick one from that list, I'd probably pick Norman Osborn, even though I don't think he would make a great Green Goblin in my eyes, but who knows these days. Either way it goes, with 2017 coming up really fast, I expect a lot of these details to start getting confirmed or denied as other details emerge, so that we can all start forming a cohesive vision as to what we should expect from the next Web Slinger reboot. In other news, totally unrelated to the actual movie itself, but still relevant to the movie as far as behind the scenes goes, the specifics of the deal between Marvel and Sony were actually laid out and confirmed for us by Kevin Feige in detail recently. This is pretty relevant to me because apparently there were still a lot of people out here who were confused about how this new Spider-Man movie would work, and without any official confirmation, it was really unclear for some fans to get a grasp on what the deal was. Essentially, all Kevin Feige said was that the Spider-Man reboot is, without a doubt, 100% a Sony Pictures production. But the film will be creatively produced by Marvel Studios, with them having full autonomy over the project, and it will also be co-produced by some of the bigwigs from Sony Pictures as well. Sony's paying for the movie and distributing it, but Marvel is the one hiring the actors, writing the script, and actually introducing him to the MCU. It's essentially the same deal that Marvel made with Universal when the last Hulk movie came out. Only Universal had all control over the movie, and they only let Marvel come in and have some input, which is why the Hulk movie was able to use Stark technology and introduce the Avengers Initiative and stuff, because they let Marvel kind of co-produce it and have some input, but they maintained all creative control. They hired the actors, they wrote the script, etc. This led to Universal eventually renting out the use of the Hulk to Marvel so they can use him at any time, as long as it's not for a Hulk solo movie, which Universal still holds the rights to. So basically, for anybody who's still unclear on this situation, let me go ahead and spell it out for you in straight black and white. The only difference in this deal and the Universal deal and other deals that have come before is that Marvel has full control of the creative production of this movie, while Sony will be the one basically funding and distributing it, which is awesome and not an uncommon practice if you think back to other movies like the first Captain America and Thor 1, which were both movies that were funded and distributed by other studios as well, but were creatively produced by Marvel Studios. So there's definitely precedence for something like this. I say that to say no one should be worried that Sony is going to find some way to come in and fuck this all up at the last minute with their crazy off-the-wall ideas, a Venom movie with no Spider-Man and all this other shit. So rest easy, my friends, all is well. So say we all. Like my little Battlestar Galactica throwback I just threw in there, huh? But anyway, what do you guys think about all this new news hitting the wire this week? Do you like the title? How do you feel about the Vulture possibly being one of the first villains introduced in the MCU for Spider-Man? Leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Also, if you found any entertainment value in this presentation at all, please drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with your friends to help a brother out. I'll see you gorgeous geeky minions later, and I'm out. Peace.